Hi, this is Paul with Equipt Expedition Outfitters. I want to talk to you a little bit about distribution wiring. Okay, we chatted a little about the opportunities that are available to you to put into your vehicle, whether it's an SUV, a van, or what have you. And you can put in some outlets, you can put in some digital readings to make sure that you're understanding where your current is and what's going on. Awesome. Well, how about in between your distribution, whatever that might be, and these outlets? What size wire do I need to run to a lot of these things? And the answer to that is it depends. And it depends on what you're going to be running with those wires. So let's talk a range of things. The biggest one that folks are looking to run is a fridge in their vehicle. Now, fridge wiring, you want to, as best you can, our rule of thumb is at least match the size of the wire on the cord that comes with the fridge. Typically, it's about a 12 gauge wire on that. We suggest running at a minimum a 12 gauge wire to an outlet from your distribution and your battery to the outlet, at least a 12 gauge. And in some instances, it's better to run a 10 gauge wire, depending on the vehicle. The longer the distance is between your vehicle and where your outlet is, the more you're going to see what is referred to as a voltage drop. The current going through the cable itself drops in its voltage as it reaches that end, the further it is from the start. Yes, there is a draw there. In bigger vehicles, I would say a 10 gauge wire is going to be fine. In my SUVs, I run a 12 gauge and it's worked perfectly fine without any problems there. So something to keep in mind there. But that's not all the things that you use in your vehicles. There could be other circumstances for other outlets that are going to have a lesser of a draw. Whether it's running something like a very small inverter, or you're trying to run a charger for your laptop, or LED lighting, or whatever that might be. Then you don't need as big a wire to run those specific things. You could run a 14 gauge or a 16 gauge to those outlets, but it's dependent on what you're trying to do. You always want to make sure you have sufficient power to run the things that are trying to be charged. In my instance, I stick with 12 gauge and I run it throughout the vehicle. 12 gauge, these can handle it. We can fuse it correctly, and then you know you've got enough power to run things. So that's my personal view on things, and I think that would work really well for you, but it's really up to you how that works.